Deadpool and Wolverine is out now, and since both these heroes have amazing healing factors, which leads to some awesome fights, well today let's try and answer the ultimate question. Who's really got the best healing factor? Who has the best healing factor in Marvel or DC Comics? Let's get into it. Ra's al Ghul might not technically have a healing factor of his own, but as the master of the Lazarus Pits, well he deserves to be put on this list. The Lazarus Pits are pools of mysterious chemicals found deep within the earth. They're all able to heal all sorts of wounds, bring back youth, and even heal the dead. They basically make you immortal, and Ra's has used the pits to heal countless wounds and resurrect himself plenty of different times. The world's greatest soldier, Slade Wilson, was chosen for an experimental super soldier project. On top of giving him superhuman strength, speed, and durability, basically becoming DC's Captain America, but also gave Deathstroke a nice healing factor. He's able to heal from most attacks much faster than a normal human, even gunshots or long falls or explosions. He's even come back from the brink of death several times over because of his healing factor. But it's not perfect and nowhere near as powerful as some of the top people on this list. For example, Deathstroke isn't able to regrow missing body parts. Vandal Savage is tens of thousands of years old, an immortal caveman who's exposed to radiation from a meteor in prehistoric times. He's been alive ever since, taking on tons of different identities, from Alexander the Great to Julius Caesar, all in an effort to take over the world. On top of being immortal, Vandal Savage also has an impressive healing factor. He's been able to heal from being shot, stabbed, poisoned, pretty much any way that you can try and kill someone. Daken is Wolverine's long-lost son. While he definitely doesn't like his dad, he does take after Logan with his claws and healing factor. Daken's been able to survive most any attack that comes his way in just a matter of moments, healing from gunshots and explosions no problem. However, while his healing factor is good, it's not as good as Wolverine's. It can be overtaxed, and since Daken doesn't have an adamantium skeleton, that leaves him more open to losing limbs or even his head, which should kill him. Solomon Grundy started out life as Cyrus Gold in the 1800s, but died in a swamp and was resurrected as Solomon Grundy, a big, lumbering zombie who's pretty much immortal. He's already got incredible strength and durability from the transformation, but since Grundy is already dead, well, he can take all sorts of attacks and his body will just keep on going, and he'll heal from it almost immediately. Not only that, but Grundy can't technically die. Each time he does die, well, he'll simply come back good as new. Mr. Sinister is one of the X-Men's most dangerous villains, a mad scientist who's dedicated to cloning, creating, and enhancing mutant abilities. He's also got complete control of his entire body down to the cellular level, which is what gives him such an amazing healing factor. He's able to recover from pretty much any attack that comes his way, even having a hole shot through his body. He's also functionally immortal, both from his own experimentations and the mutant apocalypse experimenting on him. Laura Kinney, aka X-23, is almost genetically identical to Wolverine, and her healing factor is functionally the exact same. She was actually meant to be an exact clone of Logan, but the cloning process went a little off, which is why she's a girl. It also means that while her healing factor is basically the same as Logan's, it might not be as potent or powerful. Now, we don't know that for sure. X-23 has survived just about any attack that comes her way and healed from it all. But we do know that her healing factor definitely hasn't been pushed as far as the real Wolverines or the people above her on this list. A feral mutant and the arch nemesis of Wolverine, Sabertooth also has an incredible healing factor and can instantly heal from pretty much any attack. And while starting out, Sabertooth's healing factor wasn't quite as powerful as Wolverine's, His healing factor was made a lot more powerful thanks to the experimenting done during the Weapon X project. He heals pretty much immediately from any attack that comes his way. He's pretty much immortal. He's already lived for hundreds of years, but his healing factor still isn't quite as good as Wolverine's. Cain Marko is the Juggernaut, the avatar of Sidorak, and one of the strongest, most powerful, and most unstoppable beings on Earth. Juggernaut will just keep on going and going and going no matter what, and any injury he does take, well, Sidorak will just instantly restore him. He's been reduced to just a skeleton and to come back within seconds. As long as there's just a molecule of Juggernaut remaining, well, he can't die, will recover from any attack. One of the very first mutants, Apocalypse is thousands of years old, one of the X-Men's most powerful villains, and his body is a strange mixture of mutant power and celestial technology. He can manipulate his body down to the molecular level, which also means that he can heal from pretty much any attack and always come back. In fact, he's even able to come back from death. As long as there's a bit of Apocalypse remaining, even down to a drop of blood or a cell, well, Apocalypse will always be able to come back. Everyone knows Wolverine and knows just how infamous his healing factor can be. There's a reason why governments all around the world are constantly trying to experiment on him for his healing factor. He's survived nuclear bombs, being ripped in half by the Hulk, having his heart torn out and eaten right in front of him, having his face ripped off and then being crushed by a steamroller. He's even survived Magneto ripping all the adamantium out of his body. However, while his healing factor is incredibly impressive, it can also be overridden, and it'll take Logan a while to heal back from some attacks, even a couple days or a week. Thanos is the Mad Titan, one of the most powerful villains in the Marvel Universe, and considering that death banned him from death and cursed him with immortality, well, Thanos has one of the best healing factors in comics. He's able to endure some pretty intense reality warping, only to instantly return to normal. He's able to instantly regenerate from just a skeleton. Thanos has even been able to come back from death itself in just a matter of moments. It's time to give Martian Manhunter his props. He's without a doubt one of the most powerful heroes in DC Comics. Not only is he just as strong and tough as Superman, not only does he have the powers of telepathy and shape-shifting, but he also has one of the world's greatest healing factors. Martian Manhunter can heal himself from any attack within just a matter of moments, even coming back from decapitation, or simply a pool of liquid, or regrowing an entire body out of his arm. Silver Surfer is the mighty herald of Galactus. With the power cosmic on his side, well, there's pretty much no limit to what he can do, and that includes his healing factor. He can heal in an instant from any attack, no matter how severe, and can exist without a body and still return with just a thought. His healing factor is really only limited by his connection to the power cosmic, and considering how powerful the power cosmic is, well, there's really no limit on his healing factor. A lot like Wolverine, Deadpool's healing factor has saved his life countless different times, but it's also one of the main things that ruined Deadpool's life too. Wade Wilson was diagnosed with terminal cancer all over his body and given a death sentence, but Weapon X promised him that they could come up with a cure for him. But in doing so, well, they also transformed him into a living weapon. Deadpool's healing factor is unique. It's designed to not cure his cancer, but to simply counteract the cancer. Meaning that as the cancer kills cells all over his body, well, his healing factor is constantly replacing all those cells. Put this healing factor into anyone else and their body will be overridden with new cells, they pretty much instantly explode. And while his immortality might have been removed by Thanos, Deadpool is still functionally immortal. He can heal from from a drop of blood and will still be alive and kicking butt thousands of years in the future. Hulk is most well known for being the strongest there is. And while it's usually just talking about his brute strength, it can also extend to talking about his healing factor too. His healing factor is also amplified the same way that his strength is, meaning the angrier he gets, it's not just the stronger he gets, but also the faster he heals. This means that just like his strength, while his healing factor is essentially unlimited, like he's been atomized or reduced to just a skeleton and returned in just seconds. And after the immortal Hulk, well, Hulk's healing factor is really unlimited. He can come back from death itself, heal from having his body cut all up into little pieces. It might look gruesome at times, and Hulk is really a monster, but he can return from just about anything. Lobo has one of the best healing factors in comics, no doubt about that. And this is where you can kinda argue that any one of the remaining characters can be at the top of the list. He's the last Khazarian, because he killed all the rest of his race in order to be the last one standing. He's an intergalactic bounty hunter who's able to fight on par with Superman and some of the most powerful heroes in DC. But probably his best power is his healing factor. He can regenerate from almost any injury in seconds. He can come back from just a single drop of blood. And Lobo is actually banned from DC's afterlife, banned from both heaven and hell, which means that Lobo is one of the few beings who can't be injured and he can't be killed. Following his brutal death in a swamp, Alec Holland was transformed into the Swamp Thing, the avatar of the green and protector of all plant life on the planet. And because of that, well, he's got one of the best healing factors on the planet. Swamp Thing lives within the green, meaning that even if his body is destroyed, well, he can just build himself a new body in an instant and possess that instead. As long as the green lives on, so will Swamp Thing. No matter if his body is erased from existence, or even if the entire multiverse he's in is destroyed, Swamp Thing will still live on. After ingesting experimental super soldier formula, well, the Sentry was born. And complete with the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns, pretty much any ability you can think of, well, the Sentry also has an incredibly advanced healing factor. He's able to heal himself from any attack that comes his way, even having his body completely burned down to just simply an atom, and still come back from it. But even more than that, well, Sentry can come back from death itself. He's been killed several times over, always returned. He's been defeated on the molecular level and come back. Sentry's even been completely erased from the timeline and was killed before he was even born. Sentry still managed to heal and come back. Doomsday is easily one of the most powerful villains in DC. He's the monster who showed up and killed Superman in his very first appearance. Eventually, we learned that Doomsday was a Kryptonian experiment to create an unkillable weapon of ultimate destruction, meaning that Doomsday can perfectly evolve to fight any fight and kill any foe. Doomsday is designed to come back from any injury and heal from any attack, become impervious to whatever killed him in the past. In fact, this cycle of death and rebirth is so impressive that Doomsday can heal himself and come back from death just by the mere memory of him. But the top spot, in my opinion, has to go to Dr. Manhattan. The man is literally a higher dimensional god. Of course, he's got an amazing healing factor. Nothing can get him, nothing can kill him. Plenty of people have tried, and he's always just instantly come back. Even complete atomization and disintegration on the molecular level, well, he'll just instantly reform and act like nothing happened. Dr. Manhattan simply exists on a higher tier of existence. He's just better than all of us. Of course, he's got the best healing factor in comics. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.